What is going on YouTube? This is Chimpact and I have a 5th chance Tanner battle against Jewishaccountant, who I saw on the Smoke and Wi-Fi forums, and I asked for a battle and he accepted. And he is going to have a Sandstorm team while I have a Sander team that I've been using for a while. You might have seen it in my other videos. But looking at his team, I'm thinking that the only Pokemon on my team that are going to have a good chance against him is going to be my Gyarados and my Celebi, and I really have to hope that his Scizor is going to be scared of coming into my Celebi, fearing the HP Fire, because it doesn't have the HP Fire, it has the HP Ice. And I am going to lead out with Rotom because I know it's the best bet against this team, because most of his team fears the Hydro Pump except Blissey, and Blissey doesn't like taking a trick that well, so Rotom is going to be my best bet, especially since he's probably going to be leading out with Hippowdon. And also I'm going to have to be wary about Excadrill with his Excadrill if he does have it. And if he does, I'm going to be in a little bit of trouble, because that means Celebi won't do as much damage as well, because obviously with both Scizor and Excadrill doing a bit of damage to it, it's not going to be that effective, and only Gyarados is going to be effective in this game. So I'm going to have to hope that his Scizor is fearing the HP Fire and that his Excadrill doesn't have the X-Scissor. So anyways, let's get on with the battle. Definitely going to be leading out with the Rotom, and he does lead out with the Hippowdon. But I'm not going to go for the Hydro Pump because I'm pretty sure that he knows that I have Xatu, so he's not going to go for the Stealth Rock. And I do have the Hydro Pump that he's probably scared of, so I'm going to go straight for the Trick. And now that I tricked his Blissey Choice Specs, he's not going to get Leftover Recovery, and he's going to be locked into a move. And that's really good for me, because Blissey locked into one move means that he's not going to be able to recover as well, since no leftovers means he's going to take Sandstorm damage, and hopefully I can get the Stealth Rock up, so this Blissey will be taking even more damage from the residual damage, Sandstorm and Stealth Rock, stuff like that. So I'm going to predict the Thunder Wave or the Toxic, but he goes straight for the Seismic Toss. Doesn't really matter. So I'm going to set up a Reflecting, and his Excadrill is going to come in, but he brings in his Scizor, which is no big deal because I did set up the Reflect. So I am just going to go for the Thunder Wave as he brings out his Scizor and goes for the Brick Break, breaking my Reflect. So right here I am just going to keep going for the Reflect until he gets paralyzed, and he does get paralyzed right here, so that's pretty fortunate for me. So right here I am going to go for the Roost, knowing that if he's banded, he's going to keep going for the Brick Break, and if he's leftovers, then Bug Bite is not going to do that much because I do have the Reflect up, even though it's going to be doing 2 super effective damage because I don't have the Flying type. So he does go for the Brick Break, so I am going to go for the Nightshade, which is a bad play on my part because right here he does go for the Bug Bite. And if I had set up Reflect instead of the Nightshade, I could have just set up a Reflect, went for the Nightshade, and then gone for a Roost or something like that. But now he's going to be able to take me out with the Bullet Punch with the help of Sandstorm, so he takes the early 6-5 lead, and so I'm forced to switch out, go into my Heatran, and I do have the Reflect up, so I'm not really worried about any of his attacking moves. So he goes for the Brick Break, and that was very ballsy because I did switch out Heatran for a reason, or switch in Heatran for a reason. But I could have easily took out that Scizor right there, but right here I could go for the Roar, but I'm deciding to play it safe because nothing on his team can take a Roar other than his Blissey, which is now Choice Locked, or his Rankarusu, Rhenoclys. And this team does have a bit problem with Rhenoclys if Jirachi isn't that healthy, but fortunately for me it has that max HP. So I'm going to switch out, predicting the Seismic Toss or the Thunder Wave. You probably wouldn't have gone for the Toxic because I am a Steel type. So right here I am going to stay in and go for the Thunder Wave or Giga Drain, and it doesn't take it out, but I'm not going to switch out thinking that he's going to stay in. And I decided to go for a Nazi Plot. I didn't want any of my other Pokemon getting status, and I can easily just switch out the very next turn. And I know that his Scizor is a Leftovers variant, so he's not going to be able to carry Pursuit. So right here he makes a very, very bad play and goes out to his Breloom. And because I am paralyzed, he's not going to be able to Spore me, and since I resist both the stabs, I have no idea why he brought in Breloom while my Celebi is still alive. If he had taken out my Celebi and then brought in Breloom, that would have been the best bet for him, because he could have spored one of my Pokemon, essentially making it useless because of this new sleep mechanics this generation. And he could have maybe taken out another one of my Pokemon with Seed Bombs or Leech Seed or Focus Punch, something like that. But He did bring it now, so it's gonna die to my Celebi as I go for HP Ice, unless I get Parahax. But even if I do, I can just recover off the damage and just attack him the very next time. And he's not gonna be able to make any more substitutes because of Sandstorm. And so I'm gonna just go for a safe Giga Drain because I'm at +2, and if he decides to switch on to his Rhenoclist, I could do a good chunk of damage to it. So now he's gonna switch out into his Scizor, and that tells me two things: that he knows that I don't have the HP Fire, and that his X-Drill doesn't have the X-Scissor, because otherwise he would have just brought that in and took me out with the X-Scissor, and or just went for the Swords Dance. So right here I do switch out and go into my Heatran, and I don't want to play any more games with this guy and just go straight for the Lava Plume. Don't want to go for the Roar. And he brings in his Rhenoclist. So right here I'm predicting him to go for the Calm Mind, but he goes for the Thunder Wave. And I went for the Roar, which is why his Thunder Wave went before me, but unfortunately I do get paralyzed. Doesn't really matter that much. So I am going to just stay in, and as he goes for a Psychic, so I'm thinking that he has Calm Mind, Psychic, Thunder Wave, Recover. But right here he does go for the Focus Blast, so he is definitely predicting a switch into my Gyarados or something like that. So I do go for the Earth Power, hoping for a special defense drop, but I don't get it, which doesn't really matter that much, since I am just gonna go for the Roar right here as he goes for a Recover, and now he's at max HP. So he does go out to his Scizor, which is pretty fortunate for me, and right here I do go for the Roar, knowing that I can live a Brick Break, and if he decides to switch out, I could do a little bit more damage to him with the Stealth Rocks. But he doesn't fall for my trap and just does go for the Brick Break. So now he brings in his Hippowdon, and I did look at his team, so I'm thinking that this Hippowdon doesn't have the Roar because it doesn't have enough move slots for the Roar, because he does have a little bit of problem to Gliscor, because his Breloom, Scizor, and Excadrill do get walled by it, so I'm pretty sure he's going to carry the Ice Fang, and I decided to switch in Gyarados right here because I didn't want him to take Stealth Rock damage if he decided to go for that, and he was obviously immune to the Earthquake, so it was a win-win. And so right here I am just going to go for the Waterfall. I do get the flinch, so I'm thinking that he's going to go for the Slack Off, and then even if he has the Roar, I would do a bunch of damage to him with the Waterfall next turn if he went for the Stealth Rock. I mean, not the Stealth Rock, the Slack Off. So now I am definitely going to be able to take out this thing with a Waterfall because I am at +1, but I decided to go for the Substitute, knowing that his Ice Fang isn't going to be able to break my Substitute. So right here he does switch out and go into his Rhenoclist, hoping that he can take 2 Waterfalls at +1. And it's going to be really close. I'm not sure if this is going to be able to take it out, but hopefully it is, because I'm at +1 and Gyarados does have a lot of attack. And so his HP goes down and it is able to take it out, so that is really good for me. I'm safely behind a sub and he doesn't really have anything to break it. So right here I decide not to go for the Substitute as he brings in a Scizor, because I'm thinking that his Bullet Punch won't be able to break my Substitute, but it does. So I am just going to go for another Waterfall. I guess his Ice Fang from his Hippowdon did enough so that his his Bullet Punch would be able to do enough to take me out, take my sub out. So right here he goes for Rock Slide and he misses, and that might have been able to take out my Gyarados. It definitely would have with Sandstorm, but I don't know if it would have without it, because it does like 226 to 266 damage if he's Life Orbed, and because he didn't have the balloon, I'm not sure if it was Life Orbed or Leftovers. So right here I am going to be able to win the game because all he has left is Hippowdon. So Eden sweeps the Sandstorm team. So that was a good game, Jewishaccountant. I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. And another layout battle is going to be out later this week, so I hope you guys enjoy that. Please give this video a like if you did like it, and have a great day, guys. I'm out. Peace.